Hello Ibiza Global family, and thank you so much for joining us on Ibiza Global TV. This is Liv and we are here on the outside of the glamorous new Club Chinois with the one and only Satori, preparing to go on stage very shortly for his brand new residency, A Starry Night. Satori, thank you so much for joining us and for having us here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, happy you're here actually. You can finally see it in action, you know.
Yes, we're very excited, and it's only the second week of A Starry Night. Can you tell us a little bit more about your new concept and in your new home on the island?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this obviously for 3 years, and it's so happy that I'm so happy that it's finally happening, and to see Ibiza alive again, and it's packed everywhere, you know. So you see people have the urge to come back on the island and dance and you know, and celebrate life. And so this year we've been thinking about a concept, what would be, you know, suitable also for that type of energy, and we came up with Starry Nights, which is all based. It started actually with the Van Gogh painting Starry Nights, and we came up with this idea of creating in the visuals and kind of in the whole decoration idea that you're dancing under the stars. So it's all when I start my set, it's literally a because they have a 360 LED screen. It's literally a starry night when I start. It's stars. When you look around, it's stars everywhere. So we wanted to create this idea that we're dancing in the night under the stars, you know, and it's like we're coming back together again, you know. Finally, it's possible again, and I think there's something really magical in dancing outside under the stars. But we're kind of indoor in a club, but we still want to create that experience that we're outside dancing under the stars all together.
How did you go about curating your lineups?
So obviously, like, I have my live set. In 2019 we had also live sets before or after me. This year we kind of on purpose gonna put DJs before and after me, and then I can do my live thing. And of course the good thing with DJs is that they can kind of interact a bit better with what's going on before me or after me. And I think it's a better flow when I finish my live set for a DJ to take over instead of another live set, because live sets are really like a thing on its own, you know. So in that way we curated the lineup also based on what would work after me, what would work before me, what's a nice flow of the night. So it's a lot of people that inspired me, that I also like hearing myself, you know, which I think it's important that the whole crew and everybody, you know, we have fun. So when I'm off stage, I'm also, you know, like, I like to kind of dance on that music. That's really cool music, and I like to represent that on my night. So basically everybody that's playing, I'm also a fan of. You know, some of them I never met, and I'm super excited to meet them and kind of hear about their career, you know. So I like that. It's for me also very personal in that way.
Briefly touched upon the new venue, which is of course not technically a new venue, but it has been completely refurbished and it has amazing equipment, amazing sound, beautiful visuals and lights. Can you sort of explain how your vision of A Starry Night is coming to life in this incredible setup?
Yeah, so when they told me about this setup, and you know, one of the key things is this 360 projection screen, right? Which is really cool. You have a 360 visual mapping around you. So when they told me about that, that was the first one. Then they shared with me, the booth is gonna be almost in the middle of the club. So you have this 360 experience of people around you. So when those things started to kind of play in my head, when I play that video in my head, like how would that look like, then the idea of A Starry Night started to make a lot of sense, you know, because when you have a clear sky and you look everywhere around you, you see stars, right? So that started to make a lot of sense for me. And Club Heart, which was the previous club, is dear in my heart because it was the first time I played here in Ibiza. I was in Heart, so you know, it's dear in my heart. But I must say that the way that this is set up, I like it so much more because there is so much more connection with the crowd because the booth is lower. You have these people around you, so everywhere you look there is people dancing, and I like it so much more in this way. So I do think that, again, Heart is deep in my heart, but this one is definitely for me a big step up in terms of how the club is kind of, you know, built and how it works now. I love it. I really love it.
Have a new album out that has been released about 2 months ago, I believe, Dream in Colours.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the inspiration for that? We hear it has a very personal story at its core.
Yeah, so I made the album in the pandemic here in Ibiza. When everything went in lockdown, I took a flight. Only residencies were allowed to come into Ibiza, so I kind of made myself into a residency, so I was able to come. And I flew to Ibiza, and I was, you know, completely disconnected from my fiance because she lives in New York, and she couldn't come to me, and I couldn't come to her. So it was kind of a very deep, lonely time, I guess, for all of us, you know, also for me. And somehow I couldn't wish for a better place than Ibiza, because it's a perfect place to be in lockdown, to focus on the music. I was here in the Sonic Vista studios. And I wanted to, you know, write an album which tells a personal story of me not being able to be with my wife, me not being able to be on stage, playing music, all these things. So I made it here in Ibiza, and I like to run, I like to walk. When I'm making music, walking is very kind of important role of processing my work. Most of the time I make a beat or like a setup, a draft, I put it on a headset and I start walking. And when I walk, I get a lot of ideas. Many times this boardwalk was part of my walk. And every time I passed by an empty club, and Ibiza was completely empty, so I always was like dreaming about, will this ever come back alive, or are we completely fucked forever? And you know, so this was always part of my walk, and I was always kind of fantasizing about maybe one day this place will, you know, be active again. So that's why it's so special to be here now, because literally 2 years long I did this walk here on this boardwalk, listening to my music and watching an empty club. So what does it feel like now, after 2 years of this enforced hiatus, to see Ibiza's club culture come back to life finally? Yeah, it's epic. That's you know, the only word I can think of. It's epic, and it feels like we're celebrating life all together again, right? Where everybody's so happy that this is possible, and the energy on the dance floor, it's just off the roof. It feels like people they're so hungry for dancing and having fun. So the moment you give them music, it's like they eat you alive, you know. And I love this energy. What I feel now, it's almost like an atomic bomb of love. What is exploding here, and I love it. And it gives me a lot of freedom on stage, because it feels like people appreciating music, people appreciating what I'm doing. They're connecting with it. So, yeah, it's good times.
Beautiful. And now that you're spending all summer here on the island, what do you like to do when you get a rare day off?
So me and my wife, we go to we call it calas. We're trying to discover new hidden beaches. Most of the time, when we think it's a hidden beach, we come there, it's packed, because then a lot of people discovered the same hidden beach. So we're on a challenge, on a mission to find like hidden beaches, and that's what we like to do, or like hiking, just keep it a bit chill. I don't like to go to parties or after parties or all that. It's not for me. So I like to play, and then tomorrow we're gonna go into nature and enjoy that.
Very nice. And as we already said, you had the new album out. Now you've got the residency all summer long. Yeah. Can we expect anything more from you, or are you going to take a well-deserved break after all of this?
No. I need to make music. There's for me no break in music. So I started my new label, not to release other people's music, but just to get my music out a bit faster. I love the labels where I released them, but it takes a while. There's like a waiting list. They have like releases planned. So sometimes you're releasing music which is like a year old, and I want to do it a bit faster now. So I started to create my own label, so I can release music very fast. So the idea is to release now every 6 weeks more or less a new song, and then after this summer season I'm gonna tour with my band. So we're gonna start. I start with my band again. We did rehearsals here in Ibiza. We're developing a new show. So these guys are coming to the island from time to time, and we're creating new music. So that in October I'm only gonna do band shows until the next year Ibiza. So first this, and then the band.
Creativity never rests. So thank you.
Yeah, never.
Thank you so much for your time, and maybe last but not least, where can people best connect with you and your music?
So on YouTube you can see me playing, and on Spotify you can hear me playing. So yeah, I think both has a charm. You can see the live set, and you can also just go to Spotify and listen to the album, and so I think those two is my favorites.
Right, we will release you off into the Starry Night. Thank you so much for your time, Satori. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.